better write something redeeming.
Well, what?
Two girls talk about love, marriage, babies. Make it poignant and set it in the locker room shower so they're naked.
Make it poignant and set it in the locker room shower because they're naked. And that comes right after she just does a huge rant on that guy about how women are objectified in movies and it's horrible about all their characters that they play.
Yeah.
Golden. And with that, welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Chad, and with me are my co-hosts,
Sam
and
Mike.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also, check out our website at screamsandstreams.com for more information about all the films we are looking at. Just a warning, if you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now, check out the film, and then rejoin us for our discussion. Today, we are looking at Bill Froehlich's 1987 film, Return to Horror High. It scored
That's not a typo or a
0% on Rotten Tomatoes, everybody. 0%. Let's get into it. Sam is going to give us our summary. Go ahead, Sam.
In the early 1980s, a series of gruesome murders occurred at Crippen High School. A few years later, a film crew uses the now-abandoned Crippen High as the set for a film, but an uninvited guest makes an appearance on the set.
Ooh. That's it.
With some like sexual harassment
mixed
in with it.
There's lots of that.
Sums it up.
Yeah. And our Sinister Sip, Mike, what are we drinking today?
We're doing the Back to School Martini from olivejude.com.
Alrighty.
Cheers.
So oh fuck. Ugh. The garnish is an apple.
Which I'm crunching over here.
Chunk, yeah.
This is now an ASMR podcast.
What's in this, Mike?
It is so terrible.
It burned.
Holy fuck. It hurts.
It's a lot. It's vodka, Malibu coconut rum, apple juice. Oh, and I forgot the splash of grenadine.
That might have helped a
Oh,
bit.
yeah, a little sweetness would probably... Okay, we're going to go round 2 here, now that we have the grenadine in
The
here.
correct
To see if
Sinister
this actually gives it a bit of a sweeter taste, because I don't know how much
That hurt.
more alcohol
It
that could be, other than straight whiskey.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah, fuck this drink.
It's still burning. Oh. It makes my tummy warm.
Well, it is 2.5 ounces of alcohol with just a half ounce of apple juice and a splash of grenadine. So, yeah, it's a lot of booze.
I did text Mike. I was at a toddler's birthday party at a bowling alley today, so I did tell him I hope it's strong.
Oh, and that it is. Wow. That'll kick you in the junk.
I'm really warm. Like, I'm flushed.
I put my hoodie on before we recorded. I should take it off.
Anyways, thanks for it, Mike. But yeah,
I appreciate the effort. I liked
a bit rough.
The apple was delicious.
Yeah, the apple was delicious.
It was an ambrosia apple.
Very crisp.
Moving on. Okay, we're going to get into our first impression. Sam, can you kick us off with your first impression of this film?
Never seen this film ever. It's ridiculous. The movie poster's ridiculous. The whole thing is stupid. It took me 3 days to get through it. For anyone out there who's like, oh, it's supposed to be fun and watch with your buddies, it's not. I don't even think it's fun. So
We won't talk about my text message then.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Okay, Mike?
Sorry, Mike.
No, my viewing of this is actually a sort of a 2 different tales because I knew nothing about it going into it. I knew it was a comedy slasher horror. And so I enjoyed the, like, how brutal it was, the overtopness of it. So that's why I was laughing out loud the whole time. So I just thought it was so horribly done that it was one of those movies where I'm like, this is so bad. I'm enjoying how bad it is. And then about halfway through the movie, when I was getting a little bored and started to like scroll through IMDb, I saw that it was a spoof and it was trying to intentionally make fun of horror movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, now it's just shit. Like
Yeah.
Scary Movie does it really well. This movie tries so hard to make fun of horror movies that it's just dumb.
Yeah.
So the first half, like I did text you all both and be like, we should be watching this together. It is hilarious. But then for the last half of the movie, I'm just like, oh, fuck, just end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing it's a spoof, hate it. Going into it at first, loved it because it was hilarious.
Right.
I would say like the first little bit was entertaining, but you're right. Like it did go on so long.
Way too long.
And yeah. And I was just hoping for it to end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my first impression of the film was, I had also never seen this before. And there were moments where I laughed out loud just because of how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
There were scenes where we'll get into it in the categories where there's these crazy moments and I was just okay. And then there were times where I'm like, wait, what? What is happening here? How did this work? And there are a lot of questions that are left. There's things that don't get tied up. They try to do it. Yeah, I've said it before to other films. It just misses the mark. It's just not. Yeah, I agree with what you said. It's fun for a moment until it's not.
Yeah.
And then you're just, oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Why? And
Are you going to say, and the ending is baffling?
well, there's a lot of baffling moments. Welding sex scenes is one. Like, it's just weird. And I don't know. And they're trying to make it funny and kooky. But my first line was, oh, George Clooney's in it.
His film debut.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, George Clooney, question mark, is my first
Pre-ER
note.
with the mullet and everything.
Pre-Facts of Life.
Yeah. So anyways, there are some laugh out loud moments, but overall, it is just not a good film.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know about 0%, but not a good film.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to Tropes Hall of Shame. And Sam, you're going to kick us off with our trope.
The flashlight in the tunnel stopped working.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's one we see all the time. Another one was the warning right at the beginning, but they were not alone. And I literally wrote that as a quote, and then I said, ruh-roh. Like, uh-oh.
My first two. First of all, before we get into this, I did put starring in pieces.
Oh, I had that. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. I'd like to do a broken trope, if I may. The minority did not die first
Yes.
in this one. So I thought that was interesting for an 80s film to do. And maybe that was part of the spoof.
Yeah.
I don't know. But another one was isolated person is killed in a long, empty hallway.
Right.
Right, he comes down there. Ooh, and it's like this school. It's just crazy.
And it's massive. Like,
Massive.
the building beside is like, what, 5-6 stories of school?
Yeah.
Yep.
I assume? Yeah. Okay.
Mike, what are yours?
My first one is a haunted movie production, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're filming about a killer, and the killer's back.
Uh-huh.
That's all the reaction it deserves.
Yeah.
My next one is guys betting over who gets the girl first.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the flashbacks / filmed scene. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
I think it's a film scene.
There's so many of them. Like, I was really confused, and maybe it's because I wasn't super interested, or like,
I don't think it's that. I think it's just poorly done.
it was
Yeah.
so confusing. There
Yes.
were so many bits, and even after I watched it, I had to read a whole overview of what happened.
Right.
Like the synopsis. I had to go through the whole thing because I was like, am I getting this? Like, is this?
I don't
Yeah.
think there's any flashbacks. It's all just film scenes. I don't know.
But how is that guy still alive at the end then? How is the dad still alive with the corpses and the cops and the... I don't know.
After getting javelined.
Yes.
I was like, where's the javelin come from? Why
That
is
was
there javelin in
It's
the tunnel?
just sitting in the basement. Sorry, we're skipping ahead. There are a lot of questions in this film.
But yeah, because even like the one, it was like there was the sex scene, and then that turned in like they woke
In the
up in
car?
the morning.
Oh,
no,
oh.
that sex scene, rape
Wow,
scene,
rape scene.
whichever.
Yeah.
But this one was the one with the cop. And the main
right.
actress, and then she wakes up in bed, and then
Yes.
they get murdered. But then that was a dream.
Is he a cop or is he an actor?
He is the cop.
He's the
There's
the
an actor cop. as
police
well.
consultant.
Oh yeah.
And because,
Right.
Because Clooney got an offer for a TV show.
Right. And so he... yes. Okay, now I get it. Yeah. Okay. So those are your two, Mike?
Yes.
Are we moving on? Okay. Sam, do you have another two?
Mine just was what I was just saying. Actually, it was all a dream. So when she,
yeah.
she dreamt that she
The
was getting
violent
murdered.
wake up?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was all a dream, but mine was the back end of that where she wakes up. And
Yeah.
We mentioned this in another film. Mike, you mentioned it. Where how many times when you have a nightmare do you wake up like that?
Never.
Do you like spring out of bed and oh my god, and enough to violently wake up the person next to you?
Never.
It just doesn't happen. So I had that, and then I also had the greasy movie producer.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And his clothes.
Jerry from Entity
Yes,
returned.
I know.
The clothes that you mean the sweater.
The sweater
wrapped
over the
his
silk
shoulders.
shirt.
I was like, pardon?
Anyone for tennis?
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Oh man, it was horrible.
He's
Yeah.
straight out of the yacht club.
Yeah.
I actually think that's in my what doesn't hold up is the sweater over the shoulders.
Mike, did you have another couple?
My next one is, this is when I was still enjoying it as a film.
So the first half hour.
And it's when the one person gets killed and they're being pulled into like the sandbox, and the other guy walks in the room. He's like, "Hey, are you in here? Hello." And the feet are sticking up, and they pull down just as he turns around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how did you not see those when he walked in? They're right in his outline.
And they're moving.
What the hell is a sandbox doing in the middle of the floor of a
I have
construction shop?
So many things about that sandbox, and then then why does the blood go up the sand?
Nobody knows. Is it water? Does it bubble up? Just so dumb.
And my other one is just like, the director wants to have integrity. I'm making a good film.
Right, yeah.
And the producer's like, no, like, we need boobs.
Yeah.
Can we see your breasts in
Make
this
it,
one?
yeah. I have a quote on that one.
Yeah.
Later, yeah.
I won't say anything. I don't want to know that.
I have elaborate killings. They always set up these things. And
The fan?
people fall
Fan
into them.
one was so weird.
I was like,
man.
why is the fan on wheels? And why is it? What is that? Do we shop? And why is it moving towards? And then
and why isn't he trying to swing out of its
And
line?
then I was like, this guy's supposed to be on the football team.
I said,
do a
sit-up.
sit-up.
I did, yes, exactly. I wrote that. I was like, do a fucking sit-up.
You can move out of the way before the fan gets you.
He's supposed to be this strong football quarterback.
Yes!
I
He's
was
the
like,
star
Trying to do
of
a
the
crunch
football
to save his
team.
life,
you can't
literally.
even crunch up past
I feel like
the
I
blade.
couldn't even
Like-
do that. I have no business doing
Yeah,
sit-ups.
I would have been like, well, I'm fucked.
This is just over. And to speak to that, it was that fan moving was very Austin Powers with the roller. It was so slow. And he covered his face so early.
I was
Before the fan got to him, he's no.
See? Great to watch with a group of friends.
Is it though?
Oh man, it was ridiculous. Mike, did you have any others?
The trope of the bad teacher.
Yes, I had that as well.
Lecherously bad. It was-
Horrible.
yeah, I had that in like what doesn't hold up. Actually, it's
Yeah.
just how. Yeah.
My last one, well, I have two. One of them is checking rooms alone when there's a whole set and a bunch of cops, and you don't call the cops because it's going to waste time and he may get away, right? So it's like, no, if we go for help, he may get away. It's like, dude. He's killing everybody in the whole school, and you're not gonna go out for help when
call
there's
for
a bunch of
backup.
people out there. I don't understand. And then my other one was the killer won't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like
Brutal.
he totally should have died from that.
Insanely done.
Yeah.
How he
And he just
lived.
walks in the
Yeah.
end. Like I'm like,
Yeah. Hi, Dad. Give me a break.
Yeah.
That's actually later on for me. I believe that's my what the fuck. But yeah. Moving on, let's go into our one-liners. We have a bunch. I'm going to start this category off. And the first one that I have is, there will be no exploding tit shot.
that was the one I was going to mention earlier, and I'm glad I didn't.
I couldn't. I was like, what? So that one, and then I had to back that one off, the very next line. Well, at least let me tear the nipple off. I was like, what the hell is... Those were my first two. And Mike, did you have a couple?
I'm going to stick on the Harry bent because Harry Selkirk or Selkirk or whatever, the producer, is just so sleazy.
Oh, he is the worst. Yeah.
When he's talking to the PA, he's like, have you found me any local bimbos yet?
Oh, God.
And then his other one that I liked, if she's a looker, send the douchebag some flowers. If she's fat, just dump some candy on
Yes,
her.
I had that as well. Yeah.
Talking about sending the thank you letter or whatever to an agent.
God, it's so bad.
Sam?
My first one is Callie goes, well, would you care to walk around in a scene with your schlong hanging out? Only in your case, darling, it would be a schlort.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was so good. I was like,
that
yes.
was good. Yeah.
And then another one was, do you think my mother could watch that? I don't know. What's she like? I think it was talking about, I think it was the exploding boob one as well.
Yeah. I had another couple. Mine was when the directors tried to make this film with integrity. And the dead person's like, what's my motivation? He's like, dead people have no motivation. And the other one is like some stupid like construction hand or whatever's out at the food cart. And he comes up and he says, fixing this script would be like polishing a turd.
Yeah. I do love the expression polishing a turd. I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Mike?
I did like at the very beginning where the police are investigating or they've arrived. And it's like, how many victims are there?
Yes.
It's like 6 or 7, maybe 8. It's like, can't you count? They're not exactly all together.
Yeah.
And there's just dead bodies strewn
Everywhere.
about. Like just strewn about.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm stepping on anyone, but that scene where they're talking and walking and stepping over the
The bodies. Yeah. There's little care for the dead.
Yeah.
And there's a part where she had that hand.
Yeah.
The severed arm, she just takes it out from under the sheet and is like holds it up to him. I was like, what?
Doesn't he have a pulse?
Yeah.
The whole arm rips off.
Oh man. That was ridiculous.
And then another one I have goes back to Harry, the sleazy producer, where he's talking to the one woman and he's like, you're going to have a big career ahead of you, honey. You got great tits. They're fake, but who has to know? Do you like me? Like, he is just
So
Oh,
gross.
he is
He's
horrible.
So sleazy.
Well, I would argue that the quarterback is worse. Maybe not. I don't know. Now that I say it,
No,
they're
like,
pretty.
because it was like the rapey scene was acting. That was
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah, that
right?
was acting. Yeah, that's
See,
true.
if the quarterback is just reading the script or running the lines, it's not
Right.
his fault.
Yeah.
Whereas the producer is just
That's
awful.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole car scene was so upsetting.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was
I
really bad.
actually didn't. And then he puts his hand on her tit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is like, can we get a little more of the breast? And it's like,
Are you seeing her breast in
Yeah.
this?
head out the side. I was like, what is he doing? Oh my God. I have a couple more. I have when they find the sand pit and he comes up there and he's like, oh, looks like a tunnel. She says, where? Down. it's like totally down these stairs. They open it up and it's just all the way down. So I had that one. And the last one I had was, I don't know if I really want to say this one. I wrote it, but it's the expectation of sex after you buy dinner.
Oh,
and
that
the
sounds
quarterback
terrible.
was like, I just spent $17.50 plus tip.
Yeah.
And
Plus tip is
I
so
was just
specific.
like, ugh. So I wrote it down more of a discussing, like we've been laughing about most of these one-liners, but that one was just gross.
Yeah, I was going to put that in the doesn't hold up because
yeah.
it's like $17.50 plus tip. I would love to take a dinner for 2 for that cheap,
Yeah.
but
But that part though is where the movie lost me. Like that
Yeah.
whole scene,
That
with
whole
the car
scene, yeah.
thing. That's when I lost interest because up until there I was like, okay, I was laughing along and that kind of, and then that scene I was like, oof.
Yeah, that's actually my gratuitous.
Yeah.
It just pulled me right out of the film. I just did not enjoy it.
yeah,
No.
because as schlocky or over the top as it is, like you're making fun of horror, but you're being like extremely
Yeah, it is
over the top of it.
It is a very disturbing scene, and the way they act it out, and even if it is just acting like it, and this is supposed to be like a fun horror movie.
Yeah.
Like we're not trying to
Yeah.
send a message or make a drama. Like, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't need to be in there. And if that producer wrote it in just to be a greasy motherfucker, then he's a greasy motherfucker. Like that's just horrible.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Anyways, Sam.
I just have one more. It's super just cheesy. It was at the very end, and the teacher goes, "Class dismissed." And it was almost like one of those like cheesy lines where you can see them smile, and then like the little star and the ting, like because they're all like, it's like so cheesy.
Freeze frame silhouette
Yeah,
fade to black.
yes, exactly. Just so cheesy. So I wrote that one down.
Mike.
I had two more. My next one comes from when they're heading down into the basement of the school. And it's like Callie asks, why does everyone want to go into a dark basement without a flashlight?
Yes.
It's like, yes, why? Every horror movie, why?
But then they get around that too by her falling and breaking. And then he's like, where's the gun? I can't see it because I don't have a flashlight. That part is funny. Like there are like glimpses of redeemable qualities to this film where you're just like, okay, we could give it a shot, but then there's so much that's just not good about it.
Yeah.
And then speaking of things that I think were kind of good or well done is when he's like, well, I'm out of here. And the principal's like, got Callie. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
You're leaving? It's like, yeah, it's Monday Night Football. The
That's
Eagles are
right.
playing the
Yeah.
And then he's like, don't you care about her? I'm going to kill her. He's like, it's okay. Go ahead. She hates football.
Yeah. Yeah.
And her face, she's like, what?
Yeah. She's you're just going to leave me here?
And it like he turns it around later. But like at that moment, I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah. On that, we're going to go on what doesn't hold up. So, Mike, you're going to kick us off with this one.
Okay, so my first one is it's when the woman has the exploding breast scene. And it's like, the film would be done in good taste. And then it cuts to like the woman topless. It's like, are those yours? And it's like, no, he made them for me.
Oh, the special effects guy.
Yeah, and it was just like
Yeah.
I put that as doesn't hold up because it was the first like overly sleazy
Sexist,
moment.
gross comment that they went to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have another one, Mike?
Yes. I put like Sally, one more fact. The murderer was never caught nor identified. And I was just like, ooh, exposition.
Nor.
In case you didn't know.
Sam?
I know we've kind of talked about it, but the secret trapdoor under the sandbox is
Yes.
absolutely bananas. There's no way that it works. And I just picture like the killer going and putting more sand in every time after the trapdoor opens. So I see him, like going
Obviously
back
all the
up
sand would
some,
fall through.
and he has to reset it and fill it up. I picture him with a bag of sand just going through and filling it up.
So many times these horror movies, we talk about like these elaborate little setups that they do. It would be so funny to see someone film the killer trying to set this up. Like he's a real person taking a smoke break, eating a sandwich. Oh, I gotta get back to work.
Fill out this sandbox.
Oh, he missed the trap line. Now what do I do?
And then I said, and also there's a fucking tunnel. Do you know how much of that sand would have to fill the tunnel? So yeah, I was like, the whole thing is crazy and bananas.
Yeah.
And then my second doesn't hold up is when the new student joins the class. And I know it's part of like the movie or whatever, but then as a teacher, I just think it's so funny because it's like
so bad.
the lady in the office says you might have room in this class. And it's like the lady just sent you to this classroom and was like,
Yeah. I have a few. My doesn't hold up is the typewriter, like at the end.
Oh, yeah.
He's typing on a typewriter and he's just, it just looks dumb.
And where did the blood come from that like went on to, like, I know his dad walks into the room.
Well, he's obviously bleeding from the javelin spear.
I know, but he's on the other side of the room. Like,
yeah,
he's just-
I don't know.
and it
It's
drops
like-
from the top.
Yeah,
well,
I don't know.
it's all wrong. Like he's supposed to, he looks over to the side like he walked in this way, but the blood is coming down like he's hanging over top of him.
Yeah.
So it's the angle is just totally off.
And even
So
if
it
he was
doesn't
like
make any
leaning
sense.
over, like it's a gut.
It's
like
from his chest. It's
Yeah,
not.
like-
Yeah.
But he did get shot. Like, did he get shot in the face? Like, we don't know because
No
he
idea.
fell through a wall.
and he's still alive.
and he's
and
still
walking.
alive and walking around, like, ready to kill somebody else. So, anyways, the typewriter, and then my other doesn't hold up is Skinner is such a douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a horrible person. So I just don't like that character. So he's in my doesn't hold up. Okay, Mike, do you have any others?
One thing that doesn't hold up for me, and I don't know if this is a continuity error, or like they were going for another gag, but there's the scene in the bathroom, I think, where the blood splashes and you see the silhouette of the body when he walks away from the wall.
Yeah.
And they're like, this isn't, like, I have integrity. This is a great film. They're like, no, we got to have more sex and blah, blah, blah. But the blood just gets more and more. Like, the wall
Yeah.
eventually gets covered in blood, even though, like, nothing's happened. And I was like, if they're going for a gag there, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then my other one was at the end of the film, they do the Scooby-Doo reveal that Castleman is Amos, the janitor.
Oh, that mask? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Well, that's not the thing that didn't hold up for me. It was Amos's like speech and accent. Because if Castleman was Amos the whole time, That was an extremely
Yes.
racist affectation.
So that was my next one. I was like, pardon me.
Because like when Amos first comes on, I'm like, okay, this is the way the actor speaks. That's fine. It's just part of the role. It's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's a white guy pretending to be a black janitor and just really pushing a 1920 zippity doo dah accent through.
It's really
Like it is Brer Rabbit.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Like I would say, like for a what the fuck moment, not the mask unveiling of who's underneath, but you're like, oh, that is a what the fuck. Once you realize
it
you're like,
becomes very serious all of a sudden.
There's some layers to that.
This is not okay.
No. That was in the part of the film I wasn't enjoying.
Yeah, we're just going to be clear on that. None of us enjoyed that moment. Sam, do you have any others?
So that was one of mine. And then my last one was just the teacher being so mean to Porter. And the quote is like, Porter, how could anyone be so pathetic? You're a freak of nature, just like the dodo bird.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Sorry. It's a great insult.
It's such a great insult, but also just so mean. That's a child.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Yeah.
But he's an actor too, right?
Yeah.
So does that make him a horrible, just like the quarterback, does that make him a horrible person or just a horrible character? It's a horrible character.
Yeah.
But really the teacher it's so confusing, this film, because you're trying to be like, oh, that's just horrible. But then it's, and cut. All right, we need you to, and like, oh, they're just playing a role. Yeah. And maybe that's how they're trying to get around some of this stuff. But yeah, there's some really, really shitty moments that you're like, I do not like this. And then they say cut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The screenwriter really put an agenda.
Yes.
I don't know.
I had, so when the janitor first comes in, I had him talking about, I thought this aged pretty poorly, was the talking about porn and being in them.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was like, I want to get in those teeny ones. They just come like he wanted to do teen porn and stuff. And I was just, ugh. And then he's laughing and doing the crazy laughter was out of hand.
Yes.
So that was one of them. And then my other one was, I didn't believe the age. Like, these kids were supposed to be in high school, right?
Right.
So I didn't really believe the age of the actors portraying the high school students. I thought they looked fairly old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like university or older.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I didn't think that held up. And I know they used to do that lots, just cast people that were way older than they were supposed to be in high school roles. So all right, with that, as if we haven't touched on this enough, we're going to our most gratuitous scene. And mine was the quarterback rape scene that we talked about. I thought it was pretty out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was awful.
And really didn't need to be in there. I don't know. They could have done something else. They could have made him, try to sweet talk her a little more if he wanted to get into bed with her or whatever. But instead of just outright, I paid money, this is happening, and then attacking her. And he's not the killer.
No.
So what's the...
So why make us hate him? I don't know.
And that's the thing, and he died really quickly after, with the
There's a throwaway line earlier where it's like, oh, everything was good with her until she got with that boy. So then they're trying to show us what happened to like derail her life, but they could have implied it more than they showed it.
Yeah. It just wasn't really done well. So, or it was done too well, because I hated it.
Yeah.
And so on a different note, that one pulled me out of the film, but this one I actually liked, and it was when George Clooney died. I thought his death scene was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Smashing him up against the window and the blood and stuff. I thought that one was pretty well done. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something going on here.
Yeah.
But that was within the first 10 minutes of the film.
Right.
So, and then shortly after it was,
we're
done. Okay, Mike, you're going to give us our next one.
My first gratuitous is the gag where Harry's on the phone and he keeps calling the PA back. He's like, Peter, I need this. And then Peter walks away.
Yeah.
Peter. It's like, oh, Jesus. Like the first 2 times was funny.
Yeah.
And then like just got terrible. So that was my first gratuitous, was the overuse of that gag.
Yeah.
And then my other one was the number of people that come out of the bathroom stall. when they're
I thought that was hilarious.
I thought it was funny.
I put that on stood the test of time.
Yeah. I had that in hiding in the. I had that in back it up moments because that was
like
when
a
I was
clown car.
I just want to talk about it. Like
11 people out of one.
yeah,
They just kept coming out, and then there was a pause, and then more people came out. I was like, "How many people are in this stall?"
and they just zip out.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like in our school, like that's often in the bathrooms too when you hear a bunch of people talking in there, and you're like, "Okay, guys, let's go back to class," and it's like there's like 30 kids in the bathroom. It's crazy.
Sam, do you have some?
I just had one, and it was the rape scene. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So terrifying or titillating. We're going to go into this one. I didn't know where to put this, so I just put it in here. I had the welding / sex scene. So those guys were welding on some little small barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I should put this in hiding in the shadows or anything, but why did they keep flashing to the bulletin board with the notes and the children's drawings?
Oh,
and
those
are those her drawings? Because that's pretty bad. If that's like some kind of lion thing that she drew, it flashes to that, goes back to the welders, goes to the sex scene, goes to the notes, goes to the sex scene, goes to all the time the flashing of the welding is happening. I didn't understand that, but
I had the exact same scene actually.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I was like, I also didn't really know. I wasn't titillated.
no,
It was kind of random. Like they're sleeping in a high school, and
yes.
yeah,
And the bed is like a cot.
Yeah.
And does she live there? Because she's got clothes hanging on a hanger.
There was a mention earlier about like, there's no trailers or we need to get them at hotels. I was like, no,
Oh, right.
haven't you ever been to camp? We'll stay here.
I do remember that part. Yeah.
So they were living in the school.
Well, why was there beds in the school? Weren't they? They were on
Well,
a bed, weren't they?
they might have been
them in.
brought in because it's a
So we're reaching here. Like
Yeah.
we're trying to give them credit for.
the set design matched the one comment about we're living on set.
Yeah, it was super weird. So
Yeah, that should have been in Doesn't Hold Up, I guess, actually, because it didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the hell they were welding for so long. And it's the same shot.
well, and
Like-
that must be a flashback, right? Like this is the whole scene. I'm saying that must be a flashback, but not to filming.
I
That
don't
wouldn't be
know.
part of the film because that's a cop and a high school student, then, wouldn't it? Sorry, am I overthinking it?
Well, that's
the cop
I thought it was
and
the cop
actress.
and the actress.
So it must be when we were
It's
like, is it
the
all?
cop and the actress? Yeah.
So it must be a flashback, not a not a flashback to the recording on set. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm overthinking it. I think because this is the same scene where they wake up and then there's like,
Yes.
it was all a dream kind of thing,
Yeah.
and they flash and then they do it again.
Yeah, because they have the sex.
The sex.
And then they fall asleep, and then she wakes up, and then
They get
because
killed,
she
yeah.
gets killed. Like
Yeah.
the killer chases them, and then she gets killed. Oh, I didn't put that trope in. The car doesn't start. Right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, anyways, she gets killed, and then she wakes up, and then they get out, and they're like, "Let's go look for this guy," and that's when they go down the hallway.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
either.
overthinking it.
Anyways, we're putting that in that one.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that. Let's go.
And stood the test of time. Mike, you're gonna start this one.
My first one is more just like a gag that I really appreciated. And it's when the screenwriter is being interviewed by the police outside. It was terrible. No one survived. We were being attacked. And then the female cop's just drinking her pop through the straw. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a test of time. He's like, oh, that was amazing. It just made me laugh so hard because it just came out of nowhere. So I liked that. My other test of time was another little quick gag where Carrie's freaking out. She's like, next thing you guys are going to want to ice my nipples to make them stand out.
Yes, I
And
heard
you
that.
see the one PA like throw an ice cube back in the ice bucket and turn away.
That's pretty good. Sam?
I thought the blood was pretty decent looking for the most part, and I liked the like scene with the mop, like the stringy
Yes.
mop,
Yeah.
mopping, and it's not doing it. It's not doing shit.
Yeah, it's just moving
smearing
it around. Yeah.
That person doesn't know how a mop works.
Yeah.
It was so
No water.
just blood. Yeah, so I liked that, and then I did also say like the dead bodies in the tunnel were kind of creepy when you first saw them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like so, I thought they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And then once you saw them close up, you're like, "Ugh, no, not really. But from afar, I was like, oh, they actually did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, I totally agree because I had the exact same ones. So yeah, I thought
cool.
I thought the blood was really well done. I did like how he made a comment about how hard it is to make fake blood because I've had to make fake blood, and to get the right consistency and to make it actually look half decent, it can take some time. Especially if you don't have your own recipe and stuff like that. Like I've looked online and been at it for hours before I found something that hey, this actually looks okay.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate that. So Mike, do you have any others?
I just have one last one, and it's just Callie's message about the exploitation, where she's like, you don't have to show it to know it.
Right.
When she finally loses it, like, this is going too far.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that's a message that most filmmakers, but horror makers especially, should, like, you don't have to show everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the exploitation of the film or of women, like, yeah, you don't have to show everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to eerie to ear splitting. Sam, you're going to kick us off with this one.
All right. I thought the sound effects were so over the top in this film. It was obscene. And I know they were purposely doing that, but my comment is the sound effects are big with this one.
Yeah.
In particular, like the neck breaking scene was like so ridiculous.
Through the window.
It was so bad, but everything. And then, so I found that like pretty ear splitting. And then also just the music overall is like super intense. And I was like, the credits, like at the end, I was I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is a what the fuck moment in itself. Like, what is this song? And then I also said the intro was annoying, but at least it was semi quick. So yeah, so there you go. So overall, very ear splitting.
Hated it. Yeah. So I laughed at the last song. I like scary movies. I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, "What? Who the hell wrote this tune? Like, what the fuck is this song?" But I listened to the whole thing.
I did not. I turned that off so fast. I was like, no.
Oh man, I like the monsters, and I was just, what is happening? Oh man, it was probably my favorite part of the film, actually, and it was still shitty.
It was so bad.
But that's the only comment I have, is that I actually kind of liked that song. I agree with you, Sam. Everything was over the top. Everything was loud. Everything was, ba-ba-ba.
Yeah.
And really cues when you're supposed to be scared. And the sound effects, especially when in the car scene when he lops off that girl's head and
Is that what?
it's a big swoop, and he's like, I wish you could see what we're doing here, because he's got like inches to swing this axe that chops her head off clean. And it's not even an axe, it's like a saw that you use to trim hedges. It's like, and it just it was just crazy. So yeah, that's an example. But Sam, you are absolutely correct. It was just way over the top.
Yeah.
Mike?
And my first comment is the 1950s-esque organ music was over the top in every scary scene. Like, just again, were they trying to be like meta or over-referential, but it was just
very
stupid.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
You're just, oh my God.
And then the song Man for Me, or whatever it was, that played around the love scenes. It was so bad.
The songs that they
forgot
wrote
about
for
that.
this film were so hit you over the head on point. It's just, I'm going to tell you in the lyrics exactly what is happening in this film.
I tried to find it online, but it was, just made for this film. But it's from the same woman that sang with Patrick Swayze on the Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Oh my God. She's like the wind?
Yeah.
Oh. So now we're going to go into our what the fuck moment. And Mike, you're going to kick us off with this one.
My first one is, why is the female cop suddenly thrusting out her chest to her boss?
Yeah.
And why is he acting like he's never spoken to a woman or seen breasts before?
Oh man, his gaze goes down there too
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
And he just stares the whole rest of the time.
I would almost like put the female cop as like gratuitous, like just all of the action. I was like,
She's
oh my gosh.
unbuttoning her shirt like
Yes.
she's spattered in blood.
She's covered in blood eating a sandwich. And I just didn't understand her like whole little bit there.
Yeah, like I've never seen horror movies where like the cops are over sexualized. So why are they making fun of that in this? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
Police Academy.
Yeah,
Right,
but,
that one. She's very much so. Like she's got the big breasts
but
but
not
that's
in
a
horror
comedy,
movies,
not
yeah.
a
Yeah,
horror
not in
movie.
horror movies,
No,
no.
no, you're right.
So just
Yeah.
it's like what the fuck.
Okay, Sam.
My first one was the weird wedding ceremony stuff at the end, like when the cop goes down and they find out it's Kathy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
also I was like, oh, okay, what the fuck? And then he's like, now get married or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like,
Yeah.
that was my only other one.
My what the fuck was the last 20 minutes of this film.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing down there with the marriage and that. But then when he explains, you loved her so much that she got pregnant and she had to give herself an abortion.
Yeah, that was
oh, yeah.
fucked
I
up.
was like, so there were no other options.
Yeah.
She had to give herself an abortion and then she died, which drove him crazy? I don't know about that. But then it takes 100 times to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And then he's alive again at the end. Hello, Dad. The whole thing, I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Them waking up and leaving, like the dead bodies all waking up and saying, this is the best thing to ever do with a horror film. And then the cops all come out and they're like, where did everybody go? Someone must have cleaned it up. I was like, someone cleaned up 8 severed bodies and you couldn't tell that any one of these guys were alive? You guys are fucking idiots.
And I don't get why they did that.
No.
What was the point of suddenly like, oh, we all got to pretend to be dead to get the fuck out?
Well, he said at the end it's the promotion of the
Yeah,
film.
you wanted to
right?
promote the film.
It's like...
The
Oh,
whole,
the mythology behind yeah.
Yeah,
So there's not actually-
this
and I was
will
like-
the film survived. They all died, but the film survived. Is what he wanted.
Right.
So that was what was going to sell his film and make it a blockbuster. Is what he thought.
Okay.
That greasy producer. That's what
Yeah.
he said at the end by the car.
Right.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but it's dumb.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And they all get up, and the guy says, the special effects guy, there were so many weird moments. Like the special effects guy puts on his rubber gloves that we've seen everybody die with in the first part of the film, and then he says, for real, next time. He drives away, and then I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I put, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, I know. So is he the killer, or...
I said
no.
I think I said, I was like, I said the same thing. Is he the killer? And I was like, that puny guy is killing all these
Yeah.
people? Like, no.
And it is super strong.
Yeah.
Like, and again, the janitor / principal or whoever the guy was that ended up, he just throws people around like he's got super strength.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And the last 20 minutes. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I just didn't understand it. It just made it more confusing and weird. I didn't like it. So, anyways.
Didn't like.
No, sir, I didn't like it. All right, moving on to back it up. And Sam's the only one with a back it up moment.
And it was taken away by Mike. It was the clown car bathroom stall.
Yeah.
I just didn't know where to put it. I just loved it so much.
It was golden.
It
It
was
was
so funny.
It was funny. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it as well. Hiding in the shadows. My whole thing was I just didn't understand the timeline and what was happening a
Yeah.
lot of the time is
Yeah, they didn't do it smart enough to make it make sense.
No,
Yeah.
because it was a film and then it wasn't, and then like the timelines didn't seem to match up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was very confusing.
I was just wondering if I was the only one that was confused, because there were moments where, I just didn't understand.
No, I was really, really confused
Yeah.
by the end.
And I'll just throw this one more in before I pass it on to you, Sam, is the acting is horrible.
Yeah.
Within the first 5 minutes, I put acting is horrible already. Lock in.
Again, when I was a pie-eyed optimist, I had like Josh, the director, and his back and forth with Clooney was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think it was, again, like in a pile of shit. They were...
They were the golden turd. Sam?
Yeah, mine for the most part was like the entire film. Same thing as you, Chad. The other thing I had was like, what was with the weird lip twitching thing that the son and the principal had? They were like it was like always going. It was like Peter Pettigrew.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
the tongue.
Yeah, the weird tongue and the
Yeah.
lip, and like I was like, what is that? And why? I was like, is it genetic? And they were catching flies.
Oh,
and letting it go,
yeah.
and
Yeah, that was a
smashing 'em.
weird
That was
scene.
weird.
super
yeah.
weird. And then the kid does it at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is that genetic? Because I don't.
Well, and
Intergenerational trauma.
the dad's laughing too. He would be speaking and be, and then he'd go into some other speech. And I know he was trying to act crazy, but it was just so poorly
So
done.
bad.
So bad.
And I've seen that guy. He's one of those, that guy's in this film. I've seen him in lots of things,
Yeah.
and he's way better.
Yeah.
This is obviously a time where he was just, I was told to go over the top, so this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad.
It was in MASH.
He was in Under Siege as well.
Yep.
He was one of the military guys in that. I think he often plays military
Yeah.
personnel of some kind. Mike, fire it off there.
My first one was just a weird one where like you could tell the production level of this film where they're looking at the chainsaw in the textbook for fictional weapons, but it's like taped to a page that's all about daggers. And then the quote on the chainsaw.
I love how you're the guy that picked that up. I just glazed over that. That's
I was like,
awesome.
okay, they read that book, I
Mike
guess.
is all about the books in the films.
Okay, so we'll go deeper into my viewing of this because the text is all about like in like early 1800s this dagger that would like eviscerate through the guts and like
Right.
be used for like sort of like surreptitious killings. But the quote was like on the chainsaw, although they were not to reach the 1930s, trench mortars were introduced. That was taped on top of the picture of the chainsaw that was taped on the page about daggers. It's just like, it's almost a what the fuck? Like,
What is happening?
it just made no sense.
It was such a quick cut too. Like it's so crazy that you caught that because he's just like, it's been done before, and closes the book.
Oh, I backed up and
you're
paused.
like, that's your back it up
There you
moment.
go.
Yeah.
And then my other one is when the cop is showing Callie or the actress the locker. Yeah, Callie.
Yeah.
When he's showing Callie the locker, there's been no evidence of murders yet, right? They haven't seen. Like they have not seen the murders taking place. And they have the heart inside the locker. He's like, yeah, it was Steve and whoever, Sarah. Kathy.
I think.
And then he's like, oh, but that arrow wasn't there yesterday. Scratched out my name. And then she just immediately is like, maybe the killer's back. What the fuck? As a viewer, yeah.
Because
there's
you
been-
just go there.
Maybe somebody added it. Maybe someone's screwing with you. No.
Yeah, no.
The killer's back.
Yeah.
Also, was he a high school student or a police officer when he was in high school?
He was a high school student during the murders.
Okay. But he says he
And-
investigated them.
And then maybe he's constantly investigating them.
No one knows.
No one knows. But also, wouldn't he then have noticed, like if he was an investigator in it, wouldn't he have noticed that the principal's son was the director of this movie, right? Like,
Yeah,
You'd think.
you would think.
right?
Yeah.
Like he would have probably interviewed or seen an interview of it. Like, I would think.
Chatted about it at some point.
Or like
Yeah.
recognize the name and been like, that seems familiar.
Castleman. That's a John Smith right there.
There you go.
I have a question.
Yes.
The cop uniforms, were they off to you? Do they usually have military badges on the side of them that mark where
Like
you
the
are?
chevrons? I have no idea.
As
Yeah.
a sergeant or a captain because they had all those, and I thought those were military
Yeah.
badges.
It
Do they
seemed
go
to-
on cops?
I don't know. I also thought the uniforms were odd. Like I couldn't place what it was. But
Yeah.
I was like, you can tell they're costumey or like not. I don't know. They just seemed off to me.
They're very costumey.
Yeah.
Like they look very low budget.
Yeah.
But
And why was George
ill-fitted.
Clooney walking with like a lean?
that was his acting style at
Yeah.
the time.
My gun hip is heavier, so I gotta. Oh no! Google image search. They show chevrons on police uniforms.
Okay. But have you ever noticed George Clooney's like acting just in general, he always tilts his head. Like he's
Yeah, he
always
does.
got a tilt, right? So when in every movie you watch,
Huh?
just look at where his body position is. There's always some kind of slant to George
Interesting.
Clooney. Yeah.
I'm now gonna
In
deep dive.
ER, in Ocean's 11, Batman, everything he does, there's a tilt. Either a head tilt, side angle. He's not like Negan where he's like, oh my God, rolls around and like from The Walking Dead. He doesn't do that much, but there is always a slight angle to George Clooney's acting. Moving on, we're going to go to our bonus features. And Mike, do you have any bonus features for us? There wasn't a lot, So
I'm going to start with the budget and box office.
yay!
Yay. So budget of $1 million. Box office of 1.2.
Oh, profit.
They're
I'm
making the big
amazed. I'm
bucks.
amazed.
Make money, make money. Okay, so we'll move on to Sam. Do you have anything?
Philip McKeon, carrying fully nude Joy Heston on his shoulders in the locker room, was named number 12 on its top 20 gratuitous nude scenes of the 1980s by website Flashback in July 2014. And that was Joy Heston's only role and nude scene.
That was a weird scene because like so many of the
Yeah.
women
So
like
weird.
stood up, full frontal. What are you
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
here?
what are you doing?
Now I guess I will cover up.
Yes. It was super weird. Then he's like, "Oh, and then I'll take her." And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it was super bizarre. I want to talk to Joy. Is she okay?
So I really got not a lot
That's fine.
here,
That's all.
other than the movie is unrelated to 1973's Horror High.
Yep.
That is one of them. And Lori Lethin said she had a great time making the movie. They threw 3 wigs on her, and she just went to town. She said she had a good time. So I don't know what else there is. There's not a whole lot about this film. So yeah, have at her.
I just have one more. This is literally just because there is so little fruit on the vine. I've got to pull this one. It was released on DVD as a double feature with Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, classic.
You could also have gotten it in a box set with Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, a movie called Vamp, Sleepaway Camp, which is actually pretty
Oh
good,
yeah, I've seen Sleepaway Camp and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Return of the Killer Tomatoes, and Transylvania 65000.
Oh,
But it was packaged in a cooler that would fit a 6-pack of beer. So it was literally just like, just get drunk, drink beer. to
that's
watch these
awesome.
movies.
That is.
I kind of like that.
That's a great promotional tool.
Yeah.
All right, our watchability scale now. Sam, what do you give this out of 10?
1.
No explanation
Nope.
needed.
Nope.
I love that. 1.
That's it. That's all, folks.
Mike?
I am a 1 as well. That's all I've got to say. It's shit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, we got around a 1. I mean, it's not a 0 because we can't do zeros on our podcast, but it is a 1. There's just not enough redeemable qualities in this film to warrant you checking it out. If you want to sit and get hammered and watch it, I suggest you fall asleep after 30 minutes in.
I was going to say, the first 30 minutes is a solid 4 or 5.
I would say maybe a 2.
You know what? I'd go 4 for the first, 30 minutes. And then after that, you sink fast.
Yeah. Drops quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's really quite a pile of shit.
It really is. It's so bad.
So thank you very much for listening to us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We are at ScreamStreamPod. Stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, where we have information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and page where you can recommend movies you want us to discuss. And please rate, comment on, and subscribe to our show on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Until next time, this has been Chad and
Sam.
Mike.
Mike.
Scare you later.